Travunia. Travunia was a medieval principality that was part of medieval Serbia, and later the Bosnian Kingdom. The principality became hereditary in a number of noble houses, often kin to the ruling dynasty. The region came under Ottoman rule in 1482. Its seat was in the city of Trebinje. In the 9th and 10th centuries, the Zupa of Travunia was held by the Belajovic noble family, who were entitled to rule during the reign of Prince Vlastimir of the Vlastimirovic dynasty. After the death of Kaslav, the last dynastic member, the principality disintegrated, and the provinces were annexed by the Bulgars and Byzantines. In 1034, Stefan Vojislav incited a rebellion and renounced Byzantine rule, becoming the Prince of Serbs, ruling from the seat at Duklja. In the early 12th century, Disa of the Vukanovic dynasty wrestled the region, and it continued under the rule of the Nemanjić dynasty, either held by dynastic members or close associates, of which was the notable Vojinovic noble family. After Nikola Altomanovic, the holder of a large province during the fall of the Serbian Empire, was defeated in 1373. His estates were divided between Prince Lazar Rebeljanovic of Serbia, Turadij Balsak of Zeta, and Bantivi Rtko Tromanic of Bosnia. Trebinje continued under the Bosnian crown in the hands of the Pavlović family. Then in 1435, it became part of the Duchy of St. Sava of the Kosacker family, as an Ottoman vassalage. Vladislav Herzegovich was the last office holder of the region, before it was annexed in 1482 by the Ottomans and organized into Herceg Sankagi. Background: the Slavs invaded the Balkans during the reign of Justinian I, when eventually up to 100,000 Slavs raided Thessalonica. The Western Balkans was settled with Sclavony, the east with Antes. The Sclavinoi plundered Thrace in 545, and again the next year. In 551, the Slavs crossed Nis, initially headed for Thessalonica, but ended up in Dalmatia. In 577, some 100,000 Slavs poured into Thrace and Illyricum, pillaging cities and then settling down. History: early Charlemagne, king of the Franks from 768 until his death in 814, expanded the Frankish kingdom into an empire that incorporated much of Western and Central Europe. Dalmatia, which was southeast of the Frankish Empire, was in the hands of the Croats and Serbs. Radoslav of Serbia, his son, was the ruler of Serbia during the uprisings of Ludovic Posavsky against the Franks. According to the Royal Frankish Annals, in 822, Ludovic went from his seat in Sisak to the Serbs, who controlled a great part of Dalmatia. In late 870s, the theme of Dalmatia was established, with the Strategos seated at Dubrovnik. These small cities in the region did not stretch into the hinterlands, and had no military capacity. Thus Basil I paid a tax of 72 gold coins to the princes of Zahumlia and Travunia. Trebinje is first attested in De Administrando Imperio by Constantine VII, when describing the geography of the Serbs. Travunia was a province of the Serbian Principality under the Vlastimirovic dynasty. The first known office holder was Bologna, a count, who ruled under Prince Vlastimir. In the mid-9th century, Vlastimir marries his daughter to Krajina, the son of Bologna, and gives him the Zupa of Trebinje to govern under his suzerainty. The Belajovic noble family is entitled the rule of Travunia. Valimir and his son Kusamir continue the office under the Serbian crown. From 927 to 960, Kaslav Klonomirovic, the last of the Vlastimirovic dynasty, held supreme rule of Travunia, which at the time bordered Zahumlia to the west, the city of Ragusa and Dubrovnik to the southwest, Duklja to the south and Serbia to the north. Its coastline spanned from Dubrovnik to Boka Kotorska. With the death of Časlav, Serbia disintegrated and Duklja absorbed most of Russia along with Zahumlja and Trebinje. The Katapanate of Ras was established during the rule of John Zamisks. A seal of a strategos of Ras has been dated to Zamiska's reign, making it possible for Zamiska's predecessor Nikephoros II Phocas to have enjoyed recognition in Russia. In the 990s, Bulgarian Tsar Samuel made client states out of most of the Balkans, including Duklja and Zahumlja. In 998, Samuel launched a major campaign against Jovan Vladimir to prevent a Byzantine-Serbian alliance. When his troops reached Duklja, Vladimir withdrew to the mountains. Samuel left part of the army at the foot of the mountains and led the remaining soldiers to besiege the coastal fortress of Ulcinj. In an effort to prevent bloodshed, he asked Jovan Vladimir to surrender, but Jovan refused. Some Serb nobles offered their services to the Bulgarians and, when it became clear that further resistance was fruitless, the Serbs surrendered. Jovan Vladimir was exiled to Samuel's palaces in Prespa. The Bulgarian troops proceeded to pass through Dalmatia, taking control of Kota and journeying to Dubrovnik. Although they failed to take Dubrovnik, they devastated the surrounding villages. The Bulgarian army then attacked Croatia in support of the rebel princes Kresimir III and Gojislav and advanced northwest as far as Split, Trogir and Zadar, then northeast through Bosnia and Raska and returned to Bulgaria. The Croato-Bulgarian War allowed Samuel to install vassal monarchs in Croatia. The dawn of the 10th century brought a short-lived Bulgarian occupation after the fall of the Rashkan lands, but Prince Časlav restored a principality of Serbia by 931 and ruled Travunia as well. Travunia flourished under the greatest Serbian early medieval ruler, St. Jovan Vladimir of Duklja and Travunia in the late 10th and early 11th century. With the trickery of Jovan Vladimir in 1016, Byzantine domination was restored under old Prince Dragomir. Dragomir was assassinated in Kota in 1018, which brought upon Byzantine military occupation. A Travunan Serb, Stefan Vojislav, raised a rebellion in the 1030s. Prince of Zaklumir Lutovid exerted his influence over Travunia, even though Stefan Vojislav claimed it. After inflicting a sound defeat to the Byzantines at Bar, Vojislav dispatched 50 captured Greeks to demoralize Ludovid's army that was awaiting at Klobuk. Voislav's son Goislav led the Decline forces and easily defeated Ludovid's forces, killing Ludovid himself with the help of 2 bodyguards. Travunia was fully incorporated into Decline. When Gojislav became the ruler, he elected Trebinje as the new Serbian capital. He was assassinated by Travunan Prince Ludovid, who raised a rebellion in 1047 to 1050, and Mihailo Vojislav had to depose Domanak, Ludovid's son, and move the capital from Travunia, placing his brother Sagonek as Prince of Travunia. Sagonek was overthrown in 1055, and it took Radoslav, Mihailo's faithful brother, to finally kill Domanek and seize control over Travunia. In 1077 a Slavic kingdom of Decline and Dalmatia was proclaimed. It commanded the road from Ragusa to Constantinople, traversed, in 1096, by Raymond of Toulouse and his crusaders. With the coming of the 12th century, Travunia was fully incorporated into the unified Serbian state. Later, the Nemanjić dynasty took over since 1166–68. In 1217, the Serbian kingdom was proclaimed. With the death of Stefan Vojislav, the rule was divided between the 5 sons. Gojislav had received Travunia, and briefly ruled until he was killed by local nobles, who set up Domanak as prince. Mihailo pursued and attacked Domanak, who fled. In his place Sagonek was put to govern Travunia. Domanek then returned, and drove out Sagano. Mihailo offered the office to Radoslav, who declined, afraid of losing Luskazupa. Radoslav perhaps distrusted his brother, thinking he would seize Ita, but Mihailo seems to have offered him a deal. The Byzantine Empire, wanting to take advantage of the death of Stefan Vojislav, prepared an offensive against unstable Daklya. At this time, the four remaining brothers made peace and made an alliance. The treaty concluded is the oldest in Serbian history. After the agreement, Radoslav attacked Trebinje, killing Domanek. After this event, the mother died. While in no imminent danger from that side, Mihailo found it favorable to further strengthen ties with Byzantium around 1052, gaining the title of Protospatarios, also marrying a niece of Constantine IX Monomachos. This might have implied titular recognition of Constantinople's authority, but no real concessions on his part. It corresponded to the then current balance of forces, and brought some 20 years of peace and prosperity to his land. Late Middle Ages. Under the name of Travunia or Travunia, it belonged to the Serbian Empire until 1355. Trebinje became a part of the expanded medieval Bosnian state under Tvrtkoi in 1373. There is a medieval towering Gornja Palace whose construction is often attributed to Vuk Brankovic. The old Tvrdo's monastery dates back to the 15th century. The area of Trebinje has produced the House of Mrnjavčević and was at times ruled by members of the Serbian royal family, like Queen Helena of Anjou in the 13th century. Travunia got a neighbor by 1326, as the Bosnians conquered Saclumia. In 1345, the Serbian Empire was created. After the collapse of the Serbian Empire in 1371, the area of Trebinje became ruled by the House of Vojinović Serbian dynasty from Hum. With Nikola Altomanovic's defeat, the Bosnian king Tvrtko took the area in 1377 and it has been a component of Herzegovina ever since. List of rulers. This lists only the rulers who had Travunia as their appanage. FIFA will not house the rulers of the region of Travunia. Travunia was merged into neighboring states and lost its importance several times in history. Prefect Bologna, Duke Krajina, Duke Valimir, Duke Kusamir, Duke Boleslav under his father Prince Peter of Daklya and Travunia, California, 900. Duke Dragomir of Travunia 971-1018. Merged into Daklya 1018 to 1101, Rascia 1101 to 1148, Prince Disa of Primoria 1148 to 1162, Duke Grdesa of Travunia, Florida